What's going on, guys? A lot of crazy news. Everyone's exploding over Kell Brook might retire. Um, until Kell Brook, went on Twitter and basically botched all those rumors, saying that I'm not retiring. It's just he pulled out of the Anthony Joshua card because he couldn't get up for that fight. Say what you want about Kell Brook, but at least he's consistent in terms of he said he couldn't get up for Earl Spence initially, but then he could, all of a sudden. Obviously, Triple G, big fight. Kell Brook hasn't had a big fight probably since the Spence fight. So it seems like now him and his squad is going for Terrence Crawford. Um, it's a fight I would have liked to seen probably a couple of years ago, or maybe had Kell Brook not, look, just average. At 154 versus Michael Zafaria. I think he fought Peter Quillen a couple years ago. Michael Zafaria, I mean. Um, there was a time where I thought Kell Brook was the top welterweight. Um, probably after he beat Sean Porter that window when probably till about 20, till he fought Triple G. I thought he was really the best guy. Um, Still has the best performance against Sean Porter. Whoever you thought beat him, whether it was, Ugas or Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman, um, the guy who had the best performance against Sean Porter, still to this day, was Kell Brook. And that's pretty much his claim to fame. Obviously, he was competitive versus Triple G, quote unquote, exposed Triple G. Um, you know, Arguably, quote unquote, exposed Earl Spence, but Earl Spence showed he could box, when he wants. Um, Kell Brook's always been a good fighter. I've actually always liked Kell Brook as a fighter. Um, Strong, can box, good counter puncher, good boxer puncher, deceptively quick. Not fast, but he's got some quickness to him. Um, you know, Good check, left hook, uppercut. He's actually got a really nice uppercut. He doesn't use it enough, in my opinion, but he's got a good uppercut, good straight right, good box, switches every now and then. He's a good all around, boxer. He just that move to fight Triple G was his career suicide. You know, um, that was just a dumb move. Instead of fighting, Brandon Rios, which was on the table, Devin Alexander, which was on the table, Jesse Vargas, Diego Chavez, um, for a tiny little bit, Keith Thurman, um, which I think he would have beaten Keith Thurman too. Um, Kell Brook, after he became a champion, he stopped fighting good competition. I get his first fight after the Sean Porter fight because he got stabbed, so he wanted to face, uh, I don't know, a European journeyman, kind of get his, his legs back and whatnot, see if he can still fight. But after that, his resume stayed bad, fighting Frankie Gavin and Chocho Dien and whoever else, his competition was really regressing. And, fans were getting sick of it. We know he was chasing Amir Khan, but Khan is, ducking him or whatever. So, and welterweight was, at the time, way too stacked of division to not have a solid resume. Like I said, he could have fought Devin Alexander, could have fought Brandon Rios, Diego Chavez, Jesse Vargas, could have fought Josito Lopez, possibly Maidana, you know, um, Victor Ortiz, you know what I mean? Like Andre Berto, Thurman, you know what I mean? You have options, but he pulled out of the Devin Alexander fight, I think, like 3 times. Uh, him and Diego Chavez couldn't get it to work out. Him and Jesse Vargas, that fight was supposed to be done. Jesse Vargas signed his contract. And Kell Brook, I think not too long after, announced that he was fighting Triple G, So, and it seems like we might, keyword is might, get that with, Earl Spence, Crawford, or Sean Porter, who knows. Like I said, the only people that are quiet is Earl Spence and his team, Terrence Crawford and Bo Mack. They sound somewhat optimistic. Sean Porter, Kenny Porter, they seem pretty pissed. So, um, take that for what you will. I have no idea. But, I'm not sure what will happen. Um, I don't know. I mean, all the fights are good. Even Kell Brook is somewhat a shot fighter. He's still a good fighter. He's not a bum. Uh, but I think Terrence Crawford is just, he's just in the zone right now. I think that's a. Ah, man, I would have loved to seen that fight years ago. But right now, Terrence is in the zone. He's just in the zone right now. And Kell Brook is, though I think he's still a good fighter and a talented fighter. Him hopping, up and down weight classes. His last performance was, yes, he won, but he didn't look great. Uh, I'd be wary of that. But, if he claims he can only get up for big fights, Terrence Crawford might be the last big fight you take. I think Terrence Crawford, whether he stops Kell Brook or not, is going to give Kell Brook a sizable beating, in my opinion. Definitely could be competitive early, but later on in the fight, I'm not too sure. But we'll have to see. Um, it's kind of just a waiting game, it seems like, because, Khan's got a fight in Dubai, I think, next month. Um, so, welterweight division is kind of all over. All of boxing really is kind of just all over the place, really. Like I said, this kind of just came out randomly. Kell Brook might retire. Then he comes out and says, no, I'm not retiring. I'm just trying to fight, big fights, whether it's Amir Khan at the very end of the year or Terrence Crawford, you know. Um, but, I don't think Kell Brook's retiring yet. I think he is pondering retirement, but until it comes out of the horse's mouth, like he said, then, I would just hold off on, Kell Brook retiring. I still think he is a solid fighter, but the way he's moved his career has just been chaotic. That Triple G move was definitely dumb, And really, anyone who's dared to be great recently, Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence, you can even go a little bit further, Gamboa versus Crawford, Mikey versus Spence, um, what else? Who else was it? Khan versus Canelo. Kell Brook versus Triple G. Notice all the smaller fighters lost. All of them. Half of them got stopped. The other two got, competitive or beat up. Actually, Mikey wasn't even competitive. He just got beat up for 12 rounds. If he does fight Danny, even though I think Mikey's the better fighter, I don't know what Mikey's body's like. Pause. So. Um, I could see Danny probably stopping Mikey. People forget Earl's only been a pro for like 6, 7 years. Danny Garcia's been a pro for like 11, 12 years. He's more a seasoned fighter. So, and Danny might hit harder than Earl Spence. I'm not sure. So, not saying he's a better fighter. In fact, I can see Earl Spence stopping Danny Garcia. But in terms of Danny Garcia to fight Mikey Garcia, after Mikey just got pieced up for 12 rounds, it could be like a Joe Smith Jr. versus Bernard Hopkins scenario where yes, he went the distance with a big boxer puncher like Kovalev and Earl Spence, but he got beat up for 12 rounds because you weren't competitive. So you survived 12 rounds, and then the next fight, look what happened. So I know people could say, well, Bernard Hopkins was 50, whatever, but notice how fighters aren't the same after they take those beatings. Triple G, after he fought Kell Brook, Kell Brook still young enough where he can do it. That's where I'm like, with Mikey, he still could be young enough where it may not hurt him as much, but we'll have to see. Pacquiao, he had a war with Jeff Horn, but fought Lucas Matisse and he looked great. Showed flashes of the old Pacquiao. Even when Pacquiao fought Broner, though Pacquiao got touched up early, the last 9, 10 rounds, it was a Pacquiao show. You know what I mean? Pacquiao did his thing, so we'll see what happens. But that's why you gotta have to wait. That's why I like doing breaking news stuff after, like a day after. Just because something else will turn out like, oh no, he's not retiring. He's actually just trying to fight Terrence Crawford. Like right now, he hasn't fought since December, so he could be just shedding all the weight, the weight gain and whatnot. So when he does have a fight camp or whatever, he'll be ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think about Kell Brook possibly retiring. If you do have one foot out the door, you probably should retire. Boxing, you cannot play. Either you do or you don't do it. But yeah, drop comments, like, subscribe. Stay tuned.